about it before we went back on, although Champs like to start it, so let's start there. Snake on the blue side now, of course, Vici over on the red. Snake down a game here. We'll see if they can split yet again here in the LPL, but they've banned out Annie Lysandra as their first two. Rek'Sai jabbing for Vici's ban, and another last ban for Snake.
Yeah, being taken away, that's some reactionary banning coming out of Snake, and I don't really mind it because when you get put in a hole like that, you identify what exactly did it to you, and it was a heavy engage. It was the Lysandra being able to get onto Crystal hyper carry, so yeah, take them away.
And we talk about Crystals. Rumble's actually a very curious last ban by Vici. Snake seems like a very Crystal-centric team. It's not that they can't play without him or that they don't have strength in other lanes, but they tend to let him carry because that's where he's comfortable.
Yeah, and I think what they do is, wow, actually, that's a power pick coming through from Flandre in the top lane talking about carries. They like to put a lot of focus on Crystal, so then Flandre and Bucket can go about things quietly and really achieve the small goals in the games that win them, and Crystal's just there for the massive flashy plays.
Yeah, and flashy he is there as Cassidon was the first pick up there by Snake. So big carry, like you said there for Flandre. Vici going to consider their options as well. It's interesting to see how much Vi we've seen this weekend where, again, it's such an 80 carry centric region. People love to play that sort of champion.
Yeah, I certainly think that Vi is one of those champions that will make its way back into the meta. The more hyper carries we see, and the more short range carries. She's very, very good against one particular person, and we're seeing a lot of 2 damage threats run at the moment. Although out on Snake's side, it looks like they will be running a third.
Yeah, I mean, with the Cassidon now, of course, there's that potential, but Vici do go with Janna and Vi, so 2 very strong picks there for this team. We talked about Marta's Janna in general. His Annie was great in game 1, but his Janna is almost second to none.
Yeah, it certainly is a fantastic champion. We'll see if it actually goes up against the Thresh, because I love watching Marta play Janna against Thresh. Really has the matchup covered in a lot of areas, and it looks like I will get my wish there coming out of Ella. But Vi, Janna is very interesting because if Vi goes in very, very deep, Marta might actually be able to save him with some good monsoons.
Yeah, and interestingly, as far as supports go for Snake, it is the Thresh that you wanted spawn, but Kalista actually the pick there, so going to block that away from Vasily, and Annie was open, and Ella didn't want to take it.
Annie was actually banned first time around, so
wrong.
Yeah, not taking that one away, but the Thresh will work out relatively well in lane with the Thresh passive that comes through on the auto attack, and you throw in the Kalista one as well from the W. That's just a lot of raw damage that comes through from Harass, so that won't be able to be healed back up, and that would be crazy.
Vasily maybe going to get a bit of Crystal Flare to his play here. I mean, Vasily has to look somewhere else, and he does go to Jinx, with Aurelia being the second pick for Vici.
Yeah, this almost looks like there's not that many bans in this game because everyone's got exactly what they want. Aurelia into Cassidon is a hard matchup for Flandre, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was swapped into the mid lane now and he was able to take something away. And Beast might actually be able to grab his Nunu. Oh, wow. This looks like nothing has been banned against Snake.
Yeah, I saw a quick cover of Riven there. We haven't really seen Flandre go off on a big carry champion yet, although Cassidon might be his player if he does take it. But you're right, there's almost no bans here. Crystal might get Xerath here. 4th, 5th pick. That's insane here. And Beast might get his Nunu. With all the reactionary bans that Snake did, they actually got a lot of picks that they wanted in game 1.
Yeah, they really opened up the field to a very Snake-esque play. What they like to do is chase off, chunk people out, and then Bucket just nails every single one of his ultimates and really gets people out of the fights early. So with the Nunu, with the Kalista and Flandre in the top lane on Cassidon, it's just going to be augmented so well in what will be a very heavy team fight comp.
Yeah, but I think the last pick being considered now for Vici. We did, of course, have the Nunu Xerath, being picked up there by Snake as their last pick. So you mentioned it, very Snake-centric comp, but Vici going to hover over a mid laner now.
Yeah, it certainly looks like they are seriously considering the TF. Does push back relatively well against Xerath. Has trouble ganking because Xerath has that stun and so much upfront burst and really need to walk into him as a Twisted Fate, which means you take a lot of damage.
Yeah, and it will be TF there for Hetong in the mid lane. I mean, decent at ganking, potentially Crystal get his lane down. We saw a lot of pressure being applied to the bottom lane by Vici in game 1, or even ganking the Cassidon, who does need to get going as well.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I like the fact now that Dandy is on Vi because it means that they will be able to get on top of the Xerath, use him to, I guess, absorb the stun, and then Hetong can come through for the follow-up CC. So they definitely have the ability to get some work done in this mid lane. It will be important to keep Bucker behind because we've seen time and time again him get ahead on this Xerath and tear teams apart.
And we kind of looked at this matchup and thought, you know, what's the big thing we want to focus on? And it might just be the jungle matchup here. That was a very well-played game from Danny and a bit of an underperforming game for Beast. It seems like as far as Snake playing well goes, it's Beast that really, drives everyone forward. They all play well together, especially when they're ahead. But if Beast doesn't get ahead early or is able to do what he wants in the jungle and is very aggressive, Snake just look like they flounder, and they do still fight in the late game. We saw that for sure, but it's not the same team that we've seen dominate so many others.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and that puts a lot of pressure on Beast to get around the map early, and against someone like Dandy, whose vision control is extremely good, it becomes increasingly hard because you just don't have as many openings, not as many gaps in vision to get behind enemy lines and wreak havoc. We'll see if he can do it on the Nunu here. We'll be much tankier early. Nunu has a fantastic item build path. Being able to take the Juggernaut into the Sightstone just gives him a lot of inherent health, and yeah, see if he can really get himself going.
And what do we think of the Kalista now? Because that's the big swap here for Snake. They're not playing a super long-range hyper carry.
Yeah, I think the Kalista does fine in the lane 2v2, but Vici on Jinx will scale up relatively nicely.
Yeah, it's be interesting to see what does happen here. Big game for Snake as well. They really want to make sure they clinch this win.
Yeah, they certainly do, and everything's on the line now. They need to split. Vici want the 3 points to get themselves back into that playoff race.
Well, we'll see if Vici can get it. We're going to go straight into game 2. And welcome back onto the rift for Game 2 between Snake and Vici. We've swapped sides. Our Snake are on the blue side, Vici over on the red for this best of 2. Vici already up a game here as well. And Snake, if they want to split yet again in the LPL and just get their 1 point, they'll need to do it against very strong-looking opponents.
Yeah, they certainly will. And we see a little bit more of a standard start coming through here. Although, on the top side of the map, Vici has actually looks like he's searching for a lane swap. So maybe trying to dodge out of that early Kalista power.
And we have seen a lot of hyper carries in general swap into other lanes. Jinx definitely falls into that same category. And Vici is no stranger to the swapping of the Tristana.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. So looking to see if he can just, I guess, push out lanes. One thing about Jinx is doesn't interact well with champions at the start of the game, actually loses a lot of lanes, but interacts very well with structures with that minigun, able to tear turrets down.
Yeah, Jinx, Lord of the PvE content here. Vici will look for the swap to try and get that done here, and Snake seems like they haven't quite spotted it yet, so Vici might get away with it.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I don't think this really plays against Crystal and Ella either. We'll be able to get Crystal into a little bit of a better early game. We mentioned that they lost the 2v2 rather hard, especially once that level 6 came through, so maybe look to get them some more farm, and Flandria and Beast double jungle pretty well.
Yeah, and that's sort of the next thing here for Snake is where does Beast go? Because we talk about it, he needs to have maybe a bit better of an early game here for his team. Try and snowball some of the lanes on Nunu, and he'll start here on Grump into blue. Looks like Dandy will do the same.
Yeah, it certainly looks like we're going to have similar starts on opposite sides of the map for the top laner. Dandy actually starts on a buff instead of Grump, so just going to fly around that jungle. Vi just jungles extremely quickly. Yeah,
and it's one of those things where Vi's a little bit underexplored, I guess, on this patch, but moving forward, we saw players start to pick it up. Ro, I think, was playing it quite a bit over from M3, and it's actually very strong, and Marta as well, actually getting aggressive, trying to play them off. Flandre actually has to be very careful with this blue buff, but will not get the kill there.
Yeah, Marta just being annoying there, continuing the harass through. Good mix-up here from Beast to take Blood Boil second in the double jungle. That's a really cute play.
Yeah, really nice. And Marta with a good ward there using his trinket. So Vici will at least have good knowledge about where Beast and Flandre are early. But it is going to be a swap here. Marta looking to go back. No, does cancel the recall. Crystal Ella freezing in the bottom lane. I have to imagine the same's happening in the top.
Yeah, you certainly would think that they would be freezing unless a fast push comes out here from Vici. But really important to get some good items onto the carries in this game. Very AD-heavy team focus is coming through from the team comps, relying on them to do a lot of damage.
And maybe moving into our last matchup here as well, the mid lane will be somewhat isolated with all the movement now as well. So Xerath versus Twisted Fate, it's been a while on this matchup.
Yeah, it certainly has. I think it goes pretty heavily in Xerath's favor without any ganks coming through. So maybe the lane swap there does work in Snake's favor. Keeps Bucker very safe. Will be able to repetitively shove a little bit easier and just doesn't have the fear of getting soloed out like Twisted Fate does.
Yeah, well, Dandy going back now as well. So is Carry, actually. So level 3 with double buffs for Dandy. Level 2 for Carries Aurelia. So not too bad to start things off here. Beast and Flandre doing the same. Actually wandering over to the blue side of Vici's jungle now. So maybe looking to apply some pressure there.
Yeah, they're looking for that 4-man proxy once again to try and cut them off the turret because they started the fast push. So recognizing that maybe they can get some work done on the bottom side of the map. Use the tanky Beast and really get in the head.
Yeah, good sentinel there by Crystal as well. Gives them lots of strong vision in towards the blue. And it started again. This is now a Snake standard, it seems like here. The 4-man Proxy fast push.
Yeah, it certainly does. And there's not really much of an answer to come through because Janna isn't fantastic, but it looks like their response is to gank mid lane.
Yeah, bit of the Grump stealing going through as well, but mid lane could be in trouble. Dandy does go in. That's a great Q onto Buck, who has to blow both summoners to stay alive.
Yeah, it certainly does. In response, one summoner did go down from Hetong in that Ghost, but overall, very well thought out gank there to, I guess, try and alleviate some map pressure.
Yeah, Carry can't go anywhere near this outer turret, though. Vasily will actually now start trimming the minion wave a bit more aggressively, still freezing it seems like, but he could now opt in the push, but he's actually going to stay safe and farm his first BF. So.
Yeah, and they've completely zoned Aurelia off any farm for about 3 waves now, and Beast coming into the mid lane actually supporting out Baka here. So really nice early map movements coming through for Snake this time around.
Yeah, Crystal and Ella still here looking to continue their push in towards the turret. Turret reasonably low, I have to think. Yeah, Flunder actually trying to find Dandy. Does maybe catch him at the Grump, but now knows because he got hit by the E. Puts the whatever and realizes what's happened, but he has to be careful as well. He could also get dubbed by Dandy, especially if he's underleveled.
Yeah, he certainly can, and the freeze is still on, so it looks like Beast electing to go into that top lane. Mata and Carry still teaming up. The wave looks like it's pushing back into Snake's favor, so now after they've done all that damage, might even be able to get a free recall here and grab the wave again, Crystal, and enforce a freeze.
Yeah, you saw Crystal actually freeze pretty aggressively there. He's really trying to deny a lot of CS early on. We don't normally see 1v0s extended like this, and now I guess it's a 1v2 with Carry moving down with Mata, who's also backing, but this is Crystal playing very much for a lot of farm.
Yeah, it certainly is wanting to, I guess, deny as much CS from the Aurelia as possible. We mentioned how item-focused Aurelia is, especially in that mid-game. Doesn't do his job well without it, and Hetong might have been caught out in the jungle here.
Yeah, nice little adaptation. Good stun, though, landing onto Baka. There's the combo damage, and Hetong's got to be so careful. Baka no ulti, though, can't quite go in. Stun card will get locked in there, but Baka will just rotate through, and Hetong getting caught in transition. That does relieve the pressure in the bot, but Flandre, level 3 here against Vasily, he's got to be careful. Does pop his potions, but he can't really stand here 1v1.
Yeah, he's definitely been chunked out, and in the mid lane, a gank might be coming through. No, Hetong, 6th Sense keeps himself safe.
Yeah, Beast, though, with a quick side stun already done. The same build we've seen from Clearlove from Edward Gaming. So the machete into a very quick side stun. And Crystal's like hard freezing the bottom lane now.
Yeah, he's completely zoning Carry off farm because when you are, one of the coolest thing about Kalista is you can hop past minions without taking much damage and repetitively get auto attacks on to get those big Rens out. So does extremely well with large minion waves. Other AD carries that have to walk through minion waves take so much passive damage that they don't really have that luxury.
Yeah, so Flunder here now going to try and hold his wave, but Dandy might look in for the tower dive as well. Beast, really good intuition. He's going to check this to see what's coming. We'll spot Dandy off there. Oh, no, he just missed it. Hetong is 6 now as well. Flunder in a whole host of trouble. Stun card will land there. Beast has nothing he can do, and first blood goes to Dandy.
Yeah, actually not even electing to flash there, just giving up on his life straight away, trying to keep as many resources as possible because, of course, he has to go back to that lane in a couple of seconds to try and farm again.
And now Vasily going to fast push down with Mata. Ella going to join Baka in the mid lane to try and push as well. But that's one of the dangers of hard freezing like Crystal's doing is that you're very static along the map, and Hetong, once he hits 6, able to have complete control.
Yeah, so it's actually the top laner that pays for the freeze in the bottom lane, and I guess the even scarier prospect is that they don't have a CS advantage between AD carries. Vasily CSing a little bit better might mean that they get an early dragon, though.
Yeah, I like this adaptation from Snake. So trying to mitigate the damage that's being done in the early game is a very complicated series of freezes and lane swaps here. Flandre is going to lose a blue here as Vici will steal that away, but Snake will be pretty happy with the dragon.
Yeah, they certainly will be happy with the dragon. They've got the benefit of numbers on the bottom side of the map, so we'll probably steal that blue away for themselves. They do lose out on the first turret of the game, however. That will fall very shortly in the top lane.
Yeah, Crystal does get the bottom turret for the trade, though, so it was very low. Crystal just bought himself extra time with the freeze that he thought he could get done, and now takes the turret, so that's equalized as well. Dragon up for Snake, but the first blood did go to Vici.
Yeah, so in the end, there's going to be a fight here.
Dandy wants to go in. The card will come through. That looks like Dandy actually going to get flayed back there. Good hook is over. Baka sort of caught out. Carry now getting exhausted, chased in by the Kalista as well. Flandre is teleported down as well, but he doesn't have level 6. It's kind of hard for him to do anything here. Great flash play there, though, coming through. Hetong has to dodge the next one. Flandre gets the stun. Hetong moving in. The Zerods come through again. The last bolt does miss there, and Hetong will live.
Yeah, Xerath just missing out on 2 of his bolts. Either would have meant the death for Hetong, but this puts a lot of pressure in the mid lane now, and all of that was because Vasily was in the top lane against Flandre. Flandre had teleport. Vasily did not.
And Hetong leaving the lane for that first blood that actually makes the tower very low in the mid lane. So Snake are going to get decent damage now, but good wave clear there by Mata using the Jana to defend off that turret. Now Carry gets all the frozen CS back towards the tier 2, and this game got very complicated.
Yeah, it really escalated quickly as well, and wow, so much damage coming out onto Mata.
Oh, Mata getting chunked. He does flash out of the way. Bucket tanking turret hits though, but they will get the mid turret. So Snake now 2-1 up in turrets, and Spawn maybe take a few minutes here. What has happened in the first 9 minutes of this crazy game?
Yeah, so the proxy farm for the 4 waves actually got bottom a lot lower than I realized it did. So what that did is it meant that whilst Vici picked up first blood, they traded it for a dragon. So equal turrets across the board, and a lot of CS denied from both top laners. This actually puts Cassidy in a very good spot because has the slow that will get through and add a lot of utility, whereas Aurelia, not that tanky and not much damage at this point in the game, really suffering, won't be able to push out lane.
Yeah, hard denying that Trinity Force pickup base for him carry, just trying to make it take as long as possible, just as the components for a Phage now. We'd expect the Trinity Force to be done in 4 minutes, and I'm very certain that's not going to be the case in this game.
Yeah, it certainly won't be. It looks like it'll be about a 22-minute Trinity Force at this point in the game,
so
which is
late.
Pretty late coming through when you all things considered. And when you look across the board, Snake perform much better without gold because they have all the utility, all the slows, and then a Nunu. And Nunu just buffs your AD so much. It looks like it is the Runan's Hurricane build. So you throw a Blood Boil on top of that, and Crystal just going to shove out these waves, be able to pick up a lot of free CS.
Yeah, no, Hurricane First is kind of an interesting build that a lot of people have been doing. It's a little bit tricky to really say how good it is, but in a fast pull situation, it's great here. Although 3 members down the bottom for Vici, carrying full of spears actually, but Dandy going to dive in a good double flame. Crystal heals himself up as well. There's so many spears coming through, and this Ren's going to do ridiculous damage. Good cholesterol. Dandy just gets hit, and Carry going to look to go down as well. Crystal with the double kill, survives the turret hit as well. What a play.
And this is what I say over and over again with Kalista. If you cannot kill her before she starts auto-attacking, do not go near her.
Jigsaw! Oh, blocked by Ella. Very smart play.
Yeah, really nice play coming out of Ella. I think it was actually pinged out on the map, which is even more impressive. And Crystal, let's watch this again. So all of the damage comes out, great play, and right there, after that happens, they are losing the team fight because they can no longer get on top of the Kalista. The ultimate comes through, Ella comes up huge with that one, able to get the knock-up, double kill.
The sickest thing as well is that Crystal got the rend reset off of the first kill, was able to give Aurelia all the other spears and finish it off. If that didn't happen, it'd be much harder to get the kill. Flandre trying to defend the bottom turret, can't do it against the Jinx, so now 3-2 in turrets. And yeah. Beast
was actually looking for a bit of a gank because the ultimate is up from Bucker, and they love doing this, setting it up with the slows out of Flandre and Beast and then allowing Bucker to clean it up. Really good heads-up awareness out of Vici to move away from that gank because otherwise you would think that's a 2v2 with half the CS of the top laner to what the AD carry has. You think you would win that one, but just recognizing that Bucker was away from his mid lane.
Yeah, so good coordination by Snake. Look a lot more together here in this early game. Do have a small lead of about 1,000 gold, but my question for you, Spawn, is the 3 out of turrets are down. The Hurricane sort of done its job, and the 4-man, 4-minute proxy did as well. What's next for Snake?
Yeah, Snake, very good neutral objective control. They have the Kalista, they have the Nunu, so they can wait on Dragons, try and deny as much CS from Aurelia as possible with this Kalista pickup, and then move in. Wow.
Carry Crystal just wants it. Hetong's coming in as well. Carry, full of spears again, does get the kill though, but there's a stun coming to Elegant and Lantern him out. Hetong gets denied.
Yeah, and he's out of mana, so he needs to run now. Hetong in a lot of trouble.
Oh, the flight just short there. Bucket's here as well. The Willy flash over the Willy will land the stun, but a good jig from Hetong, but he knows there's nothing left that he can do. This gets bursted alive, and Crystal going to get another one. No, Ella picks that up.
Yeah, probably the worst scenario for Ella to grab it, but that's another 2-for-nothing trade, and the minion wave was pushed out so far in the mid lane, they won't even be able to take that in response. Fantastic play from Snake.
Yeah, Crystal looking so strong on Kalista as well, and one of the few times we see more of a later game carry just snowball the lead here with the Runan's Hurricane. Very smart.
Yeah, and I hate to say it again, Pastry Time, but if you cannot kill the Kalista in your first set of spells, just don't go near her. She does so much damage.
Yeah, it's kind of like Twitch Expunge, but much worse here as Beast is trying to defend the turret. Flunder's actually going to resolve Vasily. Could be in trouble, but Dandy's going to find Flunder. Looking for the dunk, finds it, and will get the kill. Ella Lantern, not enough there. Dandy flashed over the wall. He's actually getting chased down now by the rest of Snake. Flash hook does land there. Bucker with a good stun as well, but the teleport's coming in. Good damage coming through for the Xerath, but he got exhausted. Carry gets exhausted there as well. Crystal's nowhere to be seen. Good ultimate. No, there's Crystal. Found him. Does manage to save his support. Bucker getting a bit too aggressive. Hotong finds the stun over the top. Dandy Volt breaking him. Lantern not enough. A good hook, but it kind of moves Dandy over the Lantern, and Vici answer back.
Yeah, Vici actually coming up massive there. I think they got 3 kills for nothing in the end when all the dust settles, and very well played. Also pick up the mid turret, so Snake gifting it back. Might even lose the Dragon off this one, which would be an absolute nightmare, because we've mentioned that at this point in the game, Snake need to have control objectives.
Good buff control there by Dandy. So Crystal can't quite snipe away the blue buff, so Hatong will steal that away out from Snake. Crystal just ripping through waves right now on this Kalista, but Snake probably want to run for this first Dragon.
Yeah, so they're going to, I guess, close in on the Dragon. This will be their second for the game, so being able to pick up an accelerated rate of Dragons, that's 8 minutes and then 14 minutes on cooldown. Very well played.
And Snake looking good again. This is what we talk about. When they get ahead early, they play so well as a team. We've seen already brilliant coordination. The Jigsaw coming in is okay, though. Good smite there coming through for Beast.
Yeah, so able to pick that one up. Vasily, he's farmed at the moment. 0-0-3, nearly got that Infinity Edge coming through. Boots, too, is a very good pickup on Jig scales extremely well with attack speed. So like that before the Infinity Edge, trying to get as much work done as possible. Good at taking out structures as well. And they've got all the outer turrets down in their own respect. And now they're looking to set up picks with the Aurelia split pushing, getting some farm underneath their belt. Get the teleport in from TF and be able to set these things up and turn it into a fast push for Vasily.
Yeah, and Carry getting a bit closer to that Trinity Force. Might not quite be the 22-minute mark we thought about here, but the Shin should be close to done here. Still definitely late here for Carry's Aurelia, but he's now picking up a bit of much-needed farm.
Yeah, he's still about 1,000 gold away, and with the Waves position where they are, it's probably going to be difficult to get it, but he will have it relatively soon, so he's managed to accelerate himself into this game.
Now, Crystal, be careful here, but now we'll just rend out the waves. Ella will join him here as well. And we'll see what they can get done here. Snake trying to get Vici out of their red side jungle, actually. Vici, again, still the strong advanced vision team that they're known to be.
Yeah, and Marta and Dandy, who else would be pushed up that far, sweeping out pink wards? Flandre actually going for a heavy freeze here. Keeping that turret there. He's going to have to do that again to that minion wave just because of how big it is. It's going to run past those 2 melee minions. And if he wants to continue the freeze, he now has to drag it back up.
Yeah, I mean, Flandre is definitely an expert at lane control like a lot of Snake, but that might just give an easy dive here to Dandy. The Wolf Spirit, though, will actually spot them out, so Flandre now knows what's happening. Got some help back there as well from some of the biscuits he's been eating, and Carry's going to come in to break the freeze, I think.
Yeah, so it looks like Flandre actually breaks the freeze himself in the end. Will equalize the wave now, so it will sit there, but because it has a cannon creep, because of how the waves work out, will slowly push in Snake's favor now.
And Crystal actually split pushing by himself, going to put some Sentinels down and get some advanced vision. This is a very almost 1-3-1-esque push here from Snake.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Crystal, no one really closing in on him. They do have to recall because he has his support Ella behind him, but very hard to push in on a mid-game Xerath at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of weird where the control of the map is. Vici sort of have control on the deep sides, but the very long edges of the map sort of belong to Snake. So a very weird game here, but Vici still getting the wards up. Snake, though, to their credit, really strong defensive warding.
Yeah, they certainly are starting to try and get some vision back in their side of the jungle, at least, recognizing where the creep waves are. They need to get some, I guess, farm onto Flandre at this point of the game. He isn't that tanky. We'll be able to pick up that Archangels relatively soon, but I don't like this Kassadin build. Really doesn't give him many options after the Archangels in return for a good mid-game investment. Probably still will go with that Zhonya's Hourglass, but much squishier than he would be if he had a roller.
Yeah, it does have to kind of sit through a power dip, but that's sort of Kassadin's deal anyway. So a bit awkward that he was sort of starved of resources early on, but he'll take something. I don't think he's going to do the Flandre special. He does it and Rod of Ages. That would be far too greedy, but he'll be happy here for Flandre. He's, again, really used to playing with very little to no gold.
Yeah, and I guess you nailed it there. That's exactly what he's done. He's recognized that instead of taking all the time to get roller to stack, he committed to an early tier, and he's just used all of his abilities to try and stack that early. So a little bit of an investment for a power dip. Unfortunately, Kassadin goes through the same power dip as Archangel, so it's amplified a little bit, but it still will get him to that late game carry potential.
Yeah, Vasily down the bottom has finished his Infinity Edge and now starting to hard push out the bottom side of the map. Baka will rotate down now as well to deal with that with his Athene's done, so reasonable items there. Tong looking strong with Morella Nomicon, needlessly large rod as well. Trinity Force almost done there for Carry, and Crystal has completed his Bloodthirster, so very strong now on Kalista.
Yeah, he's got that 2 item item spike, and that's one of the great things about Kallista's build. It's very, very cheap to grab 2 items on Kallista, and you get yourself into position for an early Last Whisper if you need to really take over these games. Not much armor has actually been picked up yet, so I want to see what Crystal's adaptation is. We saw last game actually sold his Last Whisper to pick up a BF sword. We'll see if it's something similar.
I mean, you mentioned the double lifesteal items. That may be what he goes for here as well. Carry, by the way, has finished a Trinity Force. It's about 4 to 5 minutes late towards the upper bracket of where you want your Trinity Force, but Carry will take it. He needs it on this Aurelia, and most importantly, Dragon up in 1:35. Vici looking to contest. They really want to deny the 3rd Dragon away from Snake.
Yeah, they certainly do want to deny the 3rd Dragon just because of how quickly they will take it with Nunu and Kallista as this game moves on. Actually looks like they're being caught out trying to go for an early greedy steal. We'll be interested if Snake go in on this.
Dandy did get it, although looking for a hook, won't find it. Good scrying of usage there by Crystal, but Snake might just set up for vision around the Dragon instead. It's interesting actually that Vici have really chosen the top half of the map to put most of their vision priority on.
Yeah, and I was about to mention that it looks like Vici owned the top half of the map and Snake really owned the bottom half of the map. I think the last 2 blues that Baka has got have been actually off Vici's side, so they're cheating towards the side that they want to get farm on. They really want a farmed Kallista, and on the other side of the map, Vici really want a farmed Aurelia, so they're cheating to that side of the map.
Yep, that will give the Dragon control over to Snake, though Dandy going to get sniped maybe for... Nope. Just hanging out, will recall Baka. Say, hey, Dandy moves back a little further towards his turret there, and Baka will push out with Crystal. These waves melt between these two, by the way.
Yeah, they definitely have some fantastic wave clear at this point in the game, and I guess what that means is they have the ability, if they get a winning team fight, to shove out lanes extremely quickly and take turrets. So setting up control over this Dragon, look at the vision control Snake have so far. 30 seconds away from that, they'll repetitively shove up mid lane looking for an opening, and as soon as Vici back off, they'll rotate to Dragon.
Yeah, Flunder's already walked down here as well, looking to maybe soak a bit of experience and make sure he's here immediately for the team's Dragon fight. Dragon up in 5 seconds now. Snake are just coasting towards it, and Vici, if they want to contest, they have to go very soon.
They have the double teleport, so they look like they're way out of position, maybe a little bit better than what they are, but they still need to get there right now because this is going so fast.
Yeah, they're going to try and kill it here. Tong does get hooked. That's amazing play coming out from Alan, and Crystal kills him immediately. Dandy goes in there for the 50-50, but Nunu secures it, and now Snake going in. Dandy will find Crystal to carry on top of him as well, but now that's a good knocker moving in. A great ulti there coming from Kallista, and Crystal is beasting through people right now. Another kill they're looking for, I think a double there as Baka gets one on to carry. Still not dead here. Good double play back there as well. Vasily goes down for a double. Maybe make it a triple here as well for Xerath. Baka goes in, stun, and there's the triple kill.
Baka is so good on Xerath. That team fight, it was all about Crystal. He got the double knock-up from his ultimate, did really well, but the clean-up from Baka, he just doesn't miss skill shots when people are running away. It's very easy when you have a Kassadin and a Nunu, but really well played out of the whole Snake lineup.
And I mean, Snake love to play this sort of comp. We looked at it and said, this is a Snake comp through and through, and well, let's see a replay.
Yeah, so the great hook coming out of Ella there actually missed the stun out of Baka, so that was probably the only skill shot he missed. And from here, it's all the Crystal show. They dive in on him. The double knock-up comes through from the ultimate. Ella gets a great play back here in a second as well, and they just go massive. Crystal once again just surviving, but how good is this Xerath play? Nails all of his ultimates, able to get another snipe in there, gets another one over the wall here to pick up the triple. He's just so good.
Yeah, and Snake, again, when they play together, especially when ahead, look like such a brilliant team to watch. Crystal going to clean out his own red buff now as well, and 4,000 gold ahead Snake at this point in the game. 5-3 in turrets especially as well. Vici are losing structures very swiftly.
Yeah, they certainly are. Off that push, they grab not only the important objective of Baron, which are at the 3rd, they grab the mid and bottom outer turret, so really able to clean up a lot of the map. And now that Last Whisper's coming through, 5-0-4, just going to be pushing lanes so quickly as Crystal.
Yeah, and the damage there from Rend as well, already pretty insane. Going to look to be even higher there. Flandre does find the pink ward, will take it out, and we have Arcane stack. I think about halfway through there for that one. Flandre will miss the pink ward, but he'll make a return visit soon to take it out. Level 11 now done as well, so Flandre looking good on Cass, and he's kind of gone through the very awkward stage of the early first 10 minutes or so of this game.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's about 500 stacks through that Archangel, so a little bit over. He's actually 2/3 way through perfectly. Matt's not my strong suit.
Not mine either, so we're done. That's not happening here in this game. But Snake onto the Baron. Love the ward there from Vici. It's so sneaky. It doesn't get seen by that ward in the pit, and Vici will move them off the Dragon again with the Twisted Fate ult. you have to be very careful where you pick your engages.
Yeah, you certainly do, and that was a great ward. Maybe not swept extremely well, but it looks like they still want to engage over this wall.
Beast maybe coming in. Elo forces Vasily to flash, and Flandre actually slows Mata now as well, but no real follow-up there. A good slow onto Flandre, but he'll just return in, lantern his way out of the way, and Snake will look to reset this fight. Hatong is coming up as well. Going to look to join the fight, maybe even look for a flank. He's popped his ulti. He wants to go in. Snake have to stick together. Dandy is training it onto Crystal. They want him so bad, but another great stun from Baka and a hook there. Dandy, sorry, Beast pops his ulti. Crystal kiting back and forth, moving in. And this looks to be another fight. But Vasily gets grabbed by Ella in the middle of the fight. And what a wipe by Snake.
Yeah, it must be so fun to play AD carry on Snake because everyone perfectly peeled for Crystal in that fight. And this guy, he can put the carry pants on, don't get me wrong. But when you have a Nunu popping absolute zero as Flandre nearly dies to a Baron, and all of the work being done, that's just such a good team fight.
Yeah, standard Flandre things, almost dying to a Baron. And we talk about it, Snake, when they team fight, it looks brilliant. And that's no shortage of that in this game. The Baron is going to eventually fall. Snake picked that one up. And Vici tapped the mat. They surrender.
Yeah, don't want to deal with the Snake lineup. So far ahead, 8-0-5 for Kalista. Crystal didn't have a fantastic early game last game, but from late game through to the next game, really performed well.
That was an OMG-esque best of two, by the way. Going from having a bit of an awkward first game where Crystal maybe a bit too confident in his carry play with the Hogmaw to just steamrolling Vici in that second game.
Yeah, certainly did. And once again, we saw the quasi-counter coming out for the Kalista, but just not doing enough work.
No, we've got a replay now as well to jump into. Snake, what a game by them.
Yeah, so this is the last team fight, and they force extremely hard once again, trying to get onto Kalista. But look at what Beast does. Look at how Flandre is peeling in the backline. Baka with all of his damage. And in the end, if you can't blow the Kalista up, she just has so many tools to maneuver around team fights and put out consistent damage with auto attacks and rend that she just becomes impossible to deal with if you can't get rid of her.
Yeah, and we saw that play, perfect carry play from Crystal. Fantastic support coming through there as well. Ella played amazing on that Thresh. I think if we were giving MVPs out, he would win it for me.
Yeah, he certainly would. 1-0-11. He came up absolutely massive. He had some really good Kalista ults. He has to do his bit in there. And the flays that were just so picture perfect.
And poor Hatong, every time he tried to get in, he just got hooked.
Yeah, he certainly did. Hatong really tried to force with the TF. I like being able to force fights, but in the end, with the amount of CC coming through in the peel, it was just too much.
And I mean, I think teams are going to learn that don't give these picks to Snake. Crystal, very deep champion. He'll be able to play almost anything, but don't give Beast Nunu. Stop it.
Yeah, I think it's a Nunu Zera thing. Like, those are the two champions that really seal it for me. They need to be taken off the board because they just augment exactly what they're trying to do in a play style.
Yeah, and with that, a fantastic split that way, Snake, but a great performance from Vici as well. Don't go anywhere, though. We have more LPL action coming up right after this.